Hello, welcome to my channel, Save Infinity. In this video, I just kind of wanted to quickly discuss and just touch on some of my own observations or what have you of some of the energetic chaoses that are going on in our world at the moment, and how they also kind of seem to reflect from past things in history or what have you, and kind of how it is that sort of ebb and flow type, as above so below type concept of how everything is kind of affecting everything, or so just with the idea of even just all the drama going on in America and stuff at the moment, with people not being documented or what have you, and all that sort of stuff. And just, how it's just similar type themes and energies that kind of pop up and recur, even just from colonizing aspects of, times in history where we, certain groups of humans went and started colonizing other countries and was this is mine now. And then, even the whole aspect of, the colonizers going to North America, and even though there was already, the Native Americans living there, and they're just this is mine now, and now they're all trying to say it is theirs and get other people out, even though they just, anyway, you get my point. And then, the idea of, for example, how colonizers came to Australia, and really kind of overtook that whole land. Australia was obviously a very, very big, powerful, energetic, spiritual, sacred land type, place. And then it kind of just got inundated with all this colonizer energy and vibes, just here, hey. And then if you even go way back from my own downloads and stuff, obviously I don't know how true it is, but just from my own things, the whole idea of, Earth itself, is a sacred energetic planet, and even once, had reptilians and stuff as well, from the dinosaur period. And then, you look at Mars, that was once, an alive, flourishing planet, but is now a bit of a dead zone. And, it's kind of the culture of the Mars society. They ended up they're, I guess, kind of similar to our capitalistic type societies, ended up kind of burning through all their resources and, killing the planet in a way. And then they decided to pop on over to Earth and just, start building. They're well, Mars ran out of resources, we'll just pop on over to Earth and start building our cities there. And now here we are. Here we are in this fiasco again. And so I feel it's just such a repeating theme. And I guess my point of pointing it out is to not just be oh, well, this is just what happens and how it's going. But I guess as well, just to kind of maybe look at it a perspective of what could be happening, and to bring a bit more reassurance about it. I guess I feel it's a process that, we, the planet and the universe itself, is going through, where these two sort of forces that have been opposing for so long and clashing with, their ideals and way of doing things and such, we're now starting to hopefully get to a point where we're kind of recognizing, rather than clashing, we should be two forces of the same force field working in balance and harmony, rather than it being this or that. It can be this and that, and even just I guess a way of doing that is, as horrible as it has been for example, the Mars colonizers coming and, absolutely just destroying poor Mama Earth. And then, the colonizers and stuff going to Australia and North America, and, all the fiascos we've had all throughout time and everything. They're just the ones I'm just popping off the top of my head. I know there's been so many. And so as horrific and as terrible as all that is and has been and still is, from another perspective, I guess, at least in one way, it is a way that those two forces do kind of mingle and kind of affect and then eventually kind of integrate each other. Even just the idea from thinking of a way of like, for example, like the convicts and the colonizers and stuff that came from England to Australia, for example. It's like, you know, for so long, a lot of that group, a lot of that energy was, you know, very racist or very thinking a certain way or very rigid in a certain, you know, structural way of doing things. And then it's like over time, we've kind of, you know, also integrated with not only like, you know, the culture of the Indigenous people and such, but also just the energy and such itself of like the sacred land of Australia itself. It's like then some of those energies have then kind of mingled and integrated with that essence to kind of come out as a new formed energy, if you get what I mean. Whereas if some of that real like racist colonizer, very control structure way of doing things type energy just sat segregated by itself over wherever it came from, it would just stay that way, stagnant. But then because it's come over here to this other energy and, you know, pillaged it a bit and done terrible things, but it's still come over and done that, and then that energy kind of starts to affect it, whether it realizes it or not, and then it starts kind of integrating together with it, and then they kind of form a new energy that's more balanced and cohesive. So, you know, maybe that's just me looking at it through a lens of positive wishful thinking and but I feel like that is at least, you know, a bit of a rhyme and reason, or a bit of a what's happening as above, so below, back through space, galactic history, you know, Earth history, and just, you know, just our day-to-day lives in some aspects is kind of, you know, it's all just like an alchemical process kind of going on, I feel. But yeah, so I thought I'd just share that idea, message, concept, whatever you want to call it, just to pop it out there. All right, sending you so much peace, love, light, and blessings as always.